Imagine a room filled with medals, uniforms, and the weight of centuries of hierarchy. Generals seated around a table, strategists armed with classified files, all convinced they are untouchable. Then suddenly 3 words shatter the silence. "Sir Ma, that's illegal." The words don't point to crime. They point to something far more disruptive. Your presence, your gift. You didn't walk in with weapons. You didn't bring an army. What you carried was raw talent, untrained by their systems, yet undeniable in its force. And in that instant, everything they believed about control, about power, about authority cracked. Because what they saw in you wasn't permission, it was proof. Proof that greatness doesn't need clearance, rank, or badges to exist. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is a wake-up call. And if you feel it stirring in your spirit, type 77 in the comments right now. Let the world see how many refuse to be contained. And don't forget, subscribe so you never miss a revelation designed to unlock what's already inside you. Stay with me, because what unsettles them most isn't your defiance. It's the fact that your gift exposes their deepest fear. Let's talk about why systems panic when they face raw talent. What terrifies the elite is not failure. What terrifies them is you moving without their permission. Systems are built on control. Rank decides who speaks, codes decide who acts, and endless drills produce soldiers who respond like machines. They believe authority is something you earn through decades of obedience. But then you appear, no badges, no training camp, no permission slip. And yet you move with precision that makes their rehearsed power look clumsy. To them, it feels supernatural. They train for instinct, you live in it. They repeat exercises until obedience becomes automatic, while you simply respond with clarity that can't be explained away. That difference unsettles them because it exposes the truth they never want admitted. Their power isn't natural, it's manufactured. Without the system, most of them are hollow. With the system, they still can't match what flows from you freely. Picture the scene. A strategist with decades of war games struggles to calculate his next move, while you, without hesitation, deliver an answer that cuts deeper than any simulation. His silence isn't admiration, it's fear. Fear that your presence has just made his rank irrelevant. And here's the irony, you weren't trying to dethrone them. You weren't even seeking validation. You were simply being yourself. But your authenticity disrupted the very foundation of their hierarchy. That's why they whisper, "Sir Ma, that's illegal." Because to them, genius that doesn't ask for permission feels like a crime. If you've ever felt underestimated, if you've ever carried a gift that others tried to ignore, let this be your confirmation. Drop the word unsanctioned in the comments right now. Show the world that you will no longer wait for approval to walk in your calling. And hit the like button so more people hear this truth. In the next part, we're going even deeper, because your presence doesn't just challenge their training. It collapses the illusions they've built around secrecy, resources, and rank. Stay right here. Billions of dollars, decades of research, entire vaults of files stamped classified. The elite build their power on secrecy, convinced that what they hide is what makes them superior. But then you show up, carrying nothing but your clarity of thought, and suddenly their classified looks outdated. Their billion-dollar weapons feel like toys. Their hidden strategies collapse under the weight of your raw instinct. Because here's the truth they don't want spoken: secrecy is fragile. It's only impressive until someone proves it unnecessary, and that's exactly what you did. You didn't break in with codes or steal their files. You simply knew, and that knowing shook them more than any spy ever could. Now picture the room. A table covered with badges, ribbons, and ranks that scream authority. But when you stepped in, all of it looked flimsy. What's a star on a uniform compared to a mind that moves freely? What's a rank compared to a presence that commands without asking? The illusion of power cracked, and for the first time, they saw how dependent they truly are on titles, on money, on systems propping them up. Strip those away, and what's left is fragile, hollow, replaceable. That's why they stared at you in silence. Not because they admired you, but because they realized their world could unravel if more people like you were revealed. They thrive on illusions, illusions of secrecy, illusions of resources, illusions of rank. But you, by simply existing, shattered them all. If you've ever been told you don't have enough access, enough money, or enough approval to matter, let this moment break that lie. Type "no illusions" in the comments to declare it. And if this truth speaks to you, subscribe right now. Because we're not done exposing what they fear most. Because beyond secrecy and resources lies their greatest fear of all, the possibility that your existence proves they are replaceable. What they fear most isn't your skill alone. What terrifies them is what your skill implies, that they are not irreplaceable. Their entire authority rests on one fragile belief, that no one outside their circle could ever do what they do. That illusion keeps them secure, untouchable. But when you walk, you crack the foundation. Imagine a 4-star general who has spent 30 years climbing the ladder. He has medals, clearance, an army at his command. And yet in one moment, you outshine his lifetime of training. He doesn't just see your brilliance, he sees the end of his illusion. Because if you can do it, others can too. And if others can, his throne is no longer safe. This is why admiration from them always feels uneasy, almost reluctant. They can't praise you without confessing their own fragility. They can't applaud you without admitting that their exclusivity was always a lie. So instead, they whisper, they resist. They look at you with quiet panic because your presence makes one truth undeniable. The system doesn't define greatness. You do. Your very existence puts a timer on their relevance. They know it, they feel it, and that's why they react with both awe and hostility. Not because you asked to replace them, but because you proved they can be replaced without asking. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever felt that your abilities threatened people who should have been mentors, comment, "I am irreplaceable" below. Let it echo across this community. And don't just watch in silence. Hit the like button, because the more people see this, the more the illusion of their exclusivity begins to crumble. Stay with me, because in the next section, we'll uncover the greatest truth of all. Genius doesn't wait for permission, it walks straight through the door. Genius doesn't stand in line. Genius doesn't wait for approval. Genius doesn't knock, it breaks through the door and makes the room adjust to its presence. That's what rattled them most. They live in a world where every action requires clearance, every decision must be authorized, and every ounce of recognition is stamped by the system. But you moved without asking, you operated without waiting, and that truth left them powerless. Because the hardest pill for them to swallow is this: your brilliance doesn't need their permission to be real. Their medals, their documents, their endless protocols, none of it validates you. You validate yourself, and that is terrifying in a culture built on gatekeeping. Imagine the scene again. A hall of officers, their lives defined by rules, staring at you as if you just broke the law. But what you really broke was the illusion that they control who gets to shine. Your existence proves that greatness operates on a different frequency, one they can't regulate, one they can't contain. That's why they resist you, why they hesitate to acknowledge you openly. Because to do so would mean confessing their control is an illusion. They would have to admit the narrative they've used to guard their power has already collapsed. If you've ever carried a vision that others tried to silence, if you've ever been told to wait your turn, this is your confirmation. You don't need permission. Drop the word genius in the comments right now and let the world know you're done waiting. And make sure you subscribe, because revelations like this aren't just content, they're a movement. And now let's bring it all together. Because what they see as illegal, the world is about to see as unstoppable. To them, your very existence feels like a violation. To the world, it feels like liberation. You are the standard they never wanted revealed. You are the reminder that authority built on fear, secrecy, and hierarchy is fragile. And you are living proof that brilliance doesn't need their systems to be undeniable. Think of the impact. In one moment, you shattered illusions of secrecy, stripped away the excuse of resources, and forced the most powerful to confront their deepest fear, being replaced. You didn't ask for permission. You didn't wait for validation. You showed up, and in doing so, you became the illegal standard, the proof that greatness cannot be contained. This is bigger than military halls or elite tables. This is about you, about everyone watching right now who has been told to stay small, to wait for approval, to operate within limits that were never meant to hold them. Your presence is a mirror. It reflects not just what you carry, but what countless others are carrying, waiting to be released. And once this truth spreads, nothing can stop it. So here's the call. If this message spoke to your spirit, don't let it fade. Hit that like button so the algorithm can't bury it. Subscribe right now so you never miss another word designed to wake up the power inside you. And in the comments, type 77 to declare that you refuse to be hidden, you refuse to be silenced, and you refuse to wait for permission. Share this with someone who has been underestimated, someone who needs to be reminded that their very existence is disruptive power. Because together, we're not just breaking rules, we're rewriting the standard. You are proof. You are the revelation. And no matter what they whisper, your destiny cannot be contained. God bless you.